Night Fever, the Bee Gees. They're having to control me in the studio. I just love that, yeah. Oh, John Travolta and everything, all the boogieing. I loved all that era of music. And, yeah, that was my kind of teenage years in the disco to the Bee Gees. It's Debbie McGee on BBC Radio Berkshire, because who else would ever admit to that? Yeah, nobody here at Radio Berkshire, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm quite excited for you to meet my next guest, because he has a talent that's very close to my heart. Well, of course, most of you know that listen in every week that I was a former ballet dancer. When I was 16, I went to the Royal Ballet School, and after graduating from there for a while, I was with the Iranian National Ballet in Tehran. But today, I'm delighted to introduce to you a very talented 15-year-old Maidenhead boy who has just beaten thousands of other young hopefuls to get a place at one of the prestigious London ballet schools, the Central School of Ballet. And his name is Jake Milston, and he joins me in the studio along with Felicity Stewart, the principal of the Elizabeth Fenton School of Dancing, where Jake has flourished since the age of 5. So good morning and happy Easter to both of you.
Good morning.
So Jake, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, anyone who's not involved in the dance world has no idea how hard it is to get into the very few good schools that we've got that you can go to, you know, at 16. Yeah. So tell us about the process of auditioning for the Central School of Ballet.
Well, I first set out in my mind that I wanted to be a professional ballet dancer when I was 12, and then that's when I told my ballet teacher, Miss Fenton,
which is actually Felicity's mum.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I wanted to do, and she suggested that I join London Junior and Senior Ballet in London. So that's what really kick-started my improvement to becoming the standard at which I am to be able to get into
and
the
so
dance school.
In doing that, because you'd gone to the Elizabeth Fenton School since you were 5,
Yeah.
you decided at 12, so you continued your training with Elizabeth Fenton, but then as an extra to that, did you go up to London for these extra classes?
Yeah, I went up to Chiswick every Sunday for 3 or 4 hours of ballet, which was a very high standard, and really, I felt that's what really helped me progress to the higher standard which I am.
Yeah, I think for anyone listening, you know, if you've got a child who's wanting to do ballet particularly, and I'm sure that you'll agree with me, Felicity, is that going to a dancing school once a week isn't enough to get you into these big ballet schools. I mean, in my day, they didn't have these extras that you could go and join in London, and my school would sometimes tutor people with some extra training. But you can't get the strength of muscle, isn't it, Felicity,
Absolutely,
really, more than anything?
Yeah, I mean, you need the training, you need them, being a few hours each weekend in addition to your weekly classes that you're having with your local school. The training that you get on these associate courses, you're being trained by professionals, ex-professionals, people who know the industry, and they're going to be driving you and building your strength and getting you to the standards so that you can go into full-time training.
I mean, it's like any sport, and dance is a sport. Anything to do that's a physical thing, the extra hours really pay off if you're being trained correctly.
Absolutely, and these associate courses as well, it's not just the weekend. They will give you homework during the week. They will give you exercises that you need to be doing every single day to be building the strength and muscle to get to these standards.
And so, Felicity, you in the last year have taken over the school from your mother.
Yes, that's right.
And so did you, and I know your mum's away travelling at the moment, but must be delighted that Jake's got in. So do you think, did she see that he had a special talent sort of in those early days when he first started?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, boys are few and far between sometimes in the ballet world. We don't get as many boys through our doors as girls. So when, you find a boy who is showing talent and is passionate about it as well, then it's really nice to be able to see them grow up and flourish and get into the industry.
And nurture him,
exactly,
I suppose, really.
Yeah.
So, Jake, you've been training since you were 5. At 12, you made the decision, this is what I want to aim for. Yeah. So then when you actually got to the audition, you had to do more than one to get in, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what happened at the first audition?
So the first audition, it was a mixed class of about 30. I can't remember the ratio of boys to girls, but it was a very high standard, and I felt I was quite out of place, but not really. But I felt everyone else had more training than I had, and I think that's the thing that everyone feels though in those kind of situations. It's like the pressure's just really getting to you, because that is the first step in. That's like the first gate that you have to.
So for the first audition, was it a class? Did you have to do a bar and then build to the centre work?
Yeah. So it was a normal ballet class, and so the bar, the centre, and they then checked like flexibility and like body shape, and like asking us to do specific stretches, and then there was a contemporary section as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so did everybody do the whole class, or did they sort of go, because when you audition for ballet companies, they go round at the bar and say, get lost you, we're not interested in you. It's really cruel, but as you're much younger and it was for a school, did you all get to stay to the end of the class?
Yeah, everyone does the entire class, because I suppose especially in the All Central, because it promotes itself as such a well-rounded school. They don't only look for the ballet, but they also promote the contemporary and that aspect of dance, because they're very modern. They know that the times are changing, like classical ballet isn't all that's going on. Like they do look for the people that can flourish in the contemporary as well as the ballet.
Well.
Yeah.
So, we're going to play a song, Jake, and then we'll talk a bit more about what happened at the final audition and when you found out you'd actually got in. But first, here's a bit of Dolly Parton on Easter Sunday on BBC Radio Berkshire. It's 11:15, Debbie McGee on BBC Radio Berkshire. I've got another 15 minutes with you before the gardening hour starts with our very own BBC Radio Berkshire gardening expert Colin Evans and the wonderful Bill Buckley, who's with you till 2 o'clock today. But in the studio with me, I'm talking ballet, and to get into one of the top London ballet schools is very difficult. But somebody who has achieved that is Jake Milston, and he's in the studio with his teacher, Felicity Stewart, from the Elizabeth Fenton School of Dancing. And Jake, we were just talking about the first audition and what a pressure it is. It's quite nerve-wracking. So how did you get told that you'd actually got through that first stage and that you were going to be invited back for another audition?
So after the audition, they said it was roughly 2 weeks of waiting until we would hear, and it was 2 weeks of waiting. It was very on edge of our seats for 2 weeks, because that's like that's the hardest part, is the waiting for me especially. And then it was a letter came through the post box. And, it was.
And then you had to go back for a final audition, so there were still quite a few people at that. And so was that just for chaps then, or were you still mixed with the girls?
My final audition was just boys. It was 30 of us in our class. And I'm not sure if there was another one just for boys as well. I know there was 3 for girls, so that's 90 girls going for 30 places. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah,
okay. it's very competitive.
In your training with Felicity here, what ballet exams have you done, or what are you up to? What level?
So at the moment, I'm working towards my intermediate ISTD exam, which I'm taking in May.
Yeah.
And I've done my RAD intermediate foundation and intermediate.
So you're quite well along the road there.
Yeah.
Intermediate RAD is really tough.
You study some other subjects with us as well, don't you, Jake?
Yes, I do modern, where I'm grade 6, and tap, where I'm grade 5.
Oh, so you can do a bit of everything. That's great. A nice big smile on Felicity's face there. Yeah, you got that in Felicity. Good for you. And everybody knows the movie and the musical of Billy Elliot, and what a hard time that boy went through in the North because he wanted to be a ballet dancer. Yeah. Have you had any kind of stigma from your school friends that you wanted to do ballet?
No, not at all, actually. Everyone that I've talked to and spoken about it with, it's been really supportive. All my friends and all my teachers, all my family. And
I think it's much more accepted now, and I think also because of things like Billy Elliot, it made people realise actually to be a male ballet dancer, you have to be stronger than people that are actually in the military.
Yeah.
You know, so it isn't for wimps.
No.
they'll be building up your muscles when you get there. And Felicity, going back to you, now you know you've in the last year taken over your mum's
That's right,
dancing
yes.
school. So what's that been like? It's a big responsibility, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, I danced at my mum's school since I was the age of 3, so it's sort of in my blood as well. The school's been going for sort of 40 odd years now, so you know, it's been in my blood. I went on to college as well myself, and then just recently taken over the school with the help and guidance from my mum. And it's been really, it's been nice to continue her work, and you know, I think it's nice for her to know it's sort of in safe hands and it's going in the direction that she wants it to go in.
And so to do that, have you had to do exams yourself, teaching exams? You know, how were you teaching before that?
Well, I wasn't actually teaching. No, I took a break and went into the business world, and then decided that actually I really did want to do this, and I'm in the midst of studying for teaching exams at the moment. So the bulk of the work is done. We've got a lot of teachers within the school. We've got about 8 teachers now together. So they're doing the bulk of the work at the moment, and I'm doing some more of the sort of competition work and things like that at the moment.
And you have to run all the administration, which
unfortunately, yes, the boring part.
It's better to concentrate on that than you. And it's quite normal now that a dancing school that you are the principal and you bring in teachers
Yes.
to teach you, as you said, lots of different subjects, not
Exactly.
just ballet.
Yes.
And so, as a child of a mother that ran a dancing school, were you know, was it something that she made you do, or were you quite happy to join in the classes when you were young?
Absolutely. I mean, when I was young, it didn't mean much to me. It was a bit of fun, and you know, I messed around in my mum's classes and things, and I never said I didn't want to do it. I just sort of went along with it. And then when I sort of became in my teens, I thought, actually, I really enjoy being on the stage. I think this is something I want to do. My brother danced as well in the school, but unfortunately he decided it wasn't for him. And now my daughter's dancing as well, and my son. So it's clearly in the blood, you know, and as you said, it's in your blood as well, Debbie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, listen, lovely to talk to you both. I'm so thrilled for you, Jake, and I
Thank
know
you.
what it feels like when you actually get in and when you start that first day and that first week, that you can never, ever relive that again. We'll just so enjoy it and enjoy the training. So, really nice to meet you.
Can we also say, if you'd like to see Jake dance, Jake, do you want to say where you're performing?
Oh, yeah. So
yeah.
This year I'm part of a company called the London Children's Ballet, and we're doing the ballet The Secret Garden, and I've got the lead male part for the older boys.
Fantastic.
And it's in the May half term at the Lyric Hammersmith.
Oh, wow, how exciting. Another exciting thing happening.
Yeah.
And you've got to be studying for your GCSEs as well, I bet.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so because you're at Desborough College. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, well, really nice to meet you both, and good luck for that as well. It's coming up to 5 to 11. It's Debbie McGee on BBC Radio Berkshire.